Okay, thank you. For February, first of all, the action items, we've got, the January minutes. Everybody's read through those. Do you have any questions to address or anything? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries then. Moving on from there, treasurer's report, welcome back, thank you.
Thank you. You'll see on the ledger, the Excel spreadsheet ledger, we got $4 from our checking interest. We got $683.70 from our CDs, that was the mutual CDs that we received, for a total of $687.70 revenue. As far as the 185.26 expenses, 42.26 was Evergy, 125 is the accountant fees, $38 QuickBooks, and statement fee was $5. And we did get a credit from the service charge, and that's what brought it back down to 185.26. So that's all the money. We do not have any income from the county. Any questions on treasurer report?
Okay,
I make a motion, we approve this presented.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. All right, Lisa. That's the Lisa.
Okay, so projects and leads January. I have a broken record, but that was, because I just did this for LCPA last week. We had a little bit of a slowdown towards the end of last year, but it has certainly increased activity. Project activity has increased this year so far. We've had 6 new leads in January, of which 5 are active. So the first one's a real estate inquiry. They were looking for multiple buildings on location 1, which is our property database, and the gentleman copied me while he copied other realtor representatives, and so learned that this gentleman was looking for a small space for exam testing services that they provide to, especially to military people, for testing, for like test taking type service. And so provided contact information for Penny at the city of Leavenworth. He indicated he wanted to be in Leavenworth, and Sam at the Main Street, and then gave him Jeremy's contact information as well after he heard during the meeting last week, because he might have something. Large land inquiry. This was a request for 750 to 1,000 acres for a data center. And so I went ahead and sent the information I have on that privately owned property in the southern part of Leavenworth County, the Tailgate Ranch. Project Compass, this is the only one that I couldn't respond to in any way. This is an international manufacturer of heavy metal materials looking for a greenfield site that's rail served. So I've marked down, keeping track of those reasons that we don't submit. And Project Mission, we'll talk more about this later. This is a Casey area developer, a real estate agent, basically working with a client that's out of state, and they're interested in a lot in the Gary Carlson Business Center. And I'll provide more information later, and you guys will have to make a decision.
If I may,
You want to go ahead?
we haven't had to do this for 3 or 4 years, but at that point where we reach the project mission, and she gives some information, we will have to step into executive session for about 5 minutes on that, which means for those of you who have not been part of that, people online will be put into a waiting room, and the rest of you will have to just step outside for just a little bit. We won't need but 5 minutes, and we'll come back on and tell you as much as we can about what we discussed, but there are certain things that most of you are not unfamiliar with that we have to go to executive session for privacy reason, but we'll come right back out. Okay,
Yeah.
so no, we don't need to do that now.
Okay.
We'll get down to project mission. It'll make it easier if we go to executive session first.
Okay.
Have the quick discussion, get out of it, then we can share much more with everybody. And
Okay.
so just so let everybody know ahead of time. I'm sorry, do it.
So we'll talk about that. Casey Smartport Industrial Site Search. They were, basically, you see, is looking to help a client either build a location to build a spec building or for land that they would build a industrial park. So we submitted the Leavenworth Business and Technology Park and a city-owned park in the city of Tonganoxie for those. And then finally, Cobra. This was a site consultant helping a manufacturer of components for industrial energetics in the aerospace and defense industry, looking for 100 to 160 acres for a new facility and testing area. And so we submitted a privately owned property in the city of Lansing. Ongoing projects, the two updates I have is, one is Project Sandpiper, that's the third project down. This was the one where they are, Evergy, the state, and TerraPower are looking to find exploring locations in Kansas to see if there's anything for a natrium nuclear reactor. And so the first step was to get a letter from the commission stating that they are interested in learning more. So the county commission did, and then I just reached out to that project lead at the state, and they said they're expecting TerraPower to ramp up their activity in the state, in Kansas, in March. And in the interim, the CEO is drafting a response letters to each community that submitted their interest. And also, in addition to the reactor, they're expecting supply chain opportunities for the manufacture of reactor parts and modules. So if we, don't get a second look for the reactor, we may have some other opportunities. And then Project Tunnel, that's a Missouri service operation, and they have closed on, I'm sorry, it's on the back. They're closed on their property in the Lansing Industrial Park. So that's an actual project that is a success. And that's it for my projects and leads. Before I just give you a couple of items on my executive director report, does anybody have any questions about the projects and leads? No. Okay. I mentioned about project activity, increasing, and then funding, as I just wanted to say, as we, look over the next year coming and we start working on 2027's budget, and we understand, we've acknowledged that the county is no longer going to fund the Port Authority or LCDC. We hope that might change as new commissioners are voted in. But we will be looking at our budget and looking for ways to reduce expenses. We've already changed our marketing company, which will start March 1st. That will save us about $10,000. We will stick to a staff of 2. And so that will reduce our, fees there, or expenses there. And with that, that means we will have 2 people versus 3. So we are going to be focused mainly on business attraction. And then we're also going to reduce where I used to do marketing trips both nationally and regionally. We're going to be more focused on the regional aspect of that. Let's see. We're also exploring alternative organization structures. Currently, well, it's a little under debate now. We thought for sure we were a 501c7. We've got 501c7 as far as the IRS is concerned. Mary is doing some research on that. I think we have some other documents. There might be some conflict as to what we're actually structured at, but we need to iron that out. And then we also are looking at the potential of adding a 501c3 to be able to take advantage of some possible grant opportunities as another way to provide some funds that we're missing now. Upcoming events, LCDC's event would be the investor networking event. Mary, I'm going to ask you again to verify.
Yes, it is Thursday, March 5th, from 4 to 6 at Sorwell in Lansing.
Okay. And then upcoming events, besides that, we're working on our second quarter investor luncheon. We do those 4 times a year in place of the board meeting, and we do it outside of this room, and we try to move it around to the 3 different communities. And so the next one will be, have we secured?
April 9th.
Yeah, April 9th. Have we secured Hallmark? That's what we're
Yes,
trying.
I just got confirmation from them
Awesome.
today, so Hallmark will be hosting it. The city of Leavenworth has graciously agreed to be the speakers at that.
Yes. Sorry. So that is it. I'm good. I'm done.
Any questions for Lisa? Okay, if you don't mind then, let's go into executive session real quick on, project mission. Ask if somebody to step out, for a little bit. Joe, you're elected member. Hey, you're stuck. All right.
You sit right there, buddy, you're not going nowhere. We're gonna take.
You elected me, I didn't know.
He's not elected.
No.
Mike Smith is.
Mike's.
Yeah,
Oh.
we don't have a car.
Get out.
Certainly can be elected.
Is Mary, question for those of us on the stream, is Mary going to mute the stream? Or do we need to leave and come back in?
I'm putting you in the waiting room.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect, thank you.
5 minutes.
Good timeout, Mary.
Put him in timeout.
Hey.
Yeah, especially Harlan.
Okay.
Betting the timeout.
Here we go.
That's fair, that's acceptable.
Okay, hold on.
Everybody out?
Figure out where it is here. I haven't put nobody in the.
Everybody out?
in the-
Okay. This is unusual. We haven't had one of the executive sessions for
Participants. Go to
years.
Participants.
But this has to do with,
Okay, where-
project mission.
Hold on, Doug. I'm trying to figure out where to put them in the, I know it's in here somewhere.
Nobody's, well,
Wanted it so long.
I know that they're just signed out.
Well, one
Go,
alternative is to
Pause recording, or see the people?
And no, I know it's in
the
there.
other alternative is just put us on mute.
Can you mute it?
County's
Okay,
cameras
you all
about.
back online.
Thank you for waiting.
And it generates income.
Marlon, come out of the corner, buddy.
We had our own meeting. You did?
I thought I heard a tap at the door.
Don't worry about that DoorDash bill,
Mary.
It's on your desk.
Like I said, it's been awkward for us. We haven't had exec, where we had to leave our meeting like this for some time, so we were a bit rusty in it. We're talking about a sale of some land to a company out of Texas. And they submitted a proposal to us and we found basically acceptable. Just for those of you, City of Leavenworth has been filled in on this, but for the rest of you, the rest of the exec council was filled in. It's a piece of land right here in the Gary Carlson Business Park. We're gonna give them actually a pretty minimal discount to the land. They're gonna employ up to 55 people, most of them high school graduates at Leavenworth County. Believe it or not, what this company does is build machines. I should take that back. They move machines that are built for the corrugated box industry. And they do it, they're setting up a Kansas City base. So they can service Oklahoma, Missouri, specifically St. Louis, Kansas City, and Chicago of all places out of Kansas City. They'll have a half a dozen trucks or so, a semi, and basically one-ton pickups that we tax here in the county and everything. And so that's what we're looking at. And at that point now, we had to go in because of contractual details, we have to do that occasionally. First, like I said, it's a bit awkward. Anyway, anybody have any questions that we can answer for you at this point?
I don't.
No, yeah, I mean, we're excited. They, at least the first blush, meet all of our zoning requirements, at least the major ones, the minor ones we can work through. I think from the city's perspective, at least, we haven't brought it before the commission yet. From a staff perspective, we think it's great. So we'll steam ahead as far as we're concerned.
Yeah, we had the conversation with the City of Leavenworth. They were, the engineers, or she was talking about the engineers needing certain material, and we were gonna get that to them. Or they were gonna get them to them ASAP. As I said, they're anxious to do so. Now that we're in open session, they were even positively, shall we say, influenced with the idea that, let's have a local builder build with anything.
Yeah.
So this is, I just don't see any negative. I'm just one person, but at this point, then I would entertain a motion from.
Yeah, I would make a motion that we approve the letter of intent, agreement as presented, including the sale purchase price of $182,350 per acre. A $3,500
Wait.
credit.
So it's 35,000.
Total 35,000. Not 182,000.
Playing hardball.
So it's a $3,500 credit for survey fees. A 6% commission to Kissinger Hunter, who is the realtor in the transaction. The contract will include, the construction of a 20,000 square foot building within 2 years of the date of the closing.
Yeah.
And if that fails to exist, there will be a first right of refusal to the Port Authority. Should they choose to buy the property back, should the company not build the 20,000 square foot building.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thanks for your patience in this matter, Jen.
This is something LCDC did a lot of work on, and it's another reason why we should be supporting LCDC to get these things
Absolutely.
done.
Yes.
Absolutely missing the boat by not supporting them.
All right, we'll move on then. The regional transportation plan, which kind of falls in your lap these days.
Well, I already provided the update on the closure out there on Cruise last time. From a county perspective, what's new is we did get another grant award since the last meeting. So last meeting, we announced the $21.8 million for the safety projects. Since then, we did receive a congressionally directed spending or earmark through Senator Moran's office with the passing of the new budget for $6.2 million. And then we have applied for some Build Kansas funds to supplement that for another 1.45 million. It will probably hear within the next 60 days whether we'll receive those funds. So Those funds are specifically for, the completion of County Route 30 or 235th Street from Dempsey, where the current project is leading off up to 92 Highway. And so, those funds will come, it's a little unclear whether they'll funnel through KDOT. I don't need to be unmuted.
Oh, we need to unmute.
They are.
Yeah.
There.
So it's a little unclear whether those funds will come through KDOT or straight to us through the DOT. Last time they came through KDOT, came down, so, but we're excited. So, with the completion of that project, we'll have that, north-south connection between K-17 and K-92 Highway. Don't have a firm timeline on, when that will be under construction. My assumption is the federal government will take plenty of time on their end to get us the agreement and we'll send it to KDOT. But I would say within 24 months of that project under construction, or at least bid out for construction. But it's 4 miles of roadway, so it'll probably take 18 months. It's not as much grading, but it'll probably take a season and a half to get that job completed. But it'll be exciting. So we'll have that north-south connection in the county that's paved. Other than that, we still have the continuing study with the city of Baser on a new turnpike exit. I have not heard anything back on that turnpike exit since the Chiefs stadium bill was approved and kind of moved forward again with Wyandotte County vote there last week. And so excited to hear how that comes back and whether or not they're considering it. I know there's been some discussion whether it be at 158th or 166th Street. 158th Street has the safety improvements and the necessary county improvements to facilitate that type of traffic. Where if they did place it at 166th Street, we would probably need another 10 to 15 million dollars to do safety improvements to that corridor. That corridor is not set up at all for the type of traffic that we would experience from a new turnpike exit. It does not have safe shoulders. Doesn't have any clear zone improvements. It was originally a chip and seal roadway. Part of it was maybe a dust abatement, I believe. So it would not accommodate thousands of vehicles a day, where 158th Street does have the stoplight. The KDOT is already constructing a roundabout 2027 at K32, and it does have all of the safety improvements that were made as part of the two county projects. So there is a higher acquisition cost for them because we do have that horse business there. Equine Center. They're the southwest quadrant of that I-70 and 158th. So I don't know what that cost is, if they had to buy that business out and relocate it, but I assume it would be less than $15 million, which would be the county's cost of improvements to 166th Street. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm sure they're all looking at all those alternatives. But that is kind of sitting out there. That's the next big thing that I'm looking forward to moving forward and hearing about. So other than that, I don't know of any big projects. We also have, I'm sure it will be at some point announced as part of the election cycle, but we have the upcoming transportation announcements. We're hopeful that they do funds in K7 interchanges. And they did put out I believe it's April 24th. Correct me if anybody knows I'm wrong, but I believe it's April 24th. It was put on the county's Facebook page last week, is the open house at Lansing for the K5 modernization alternatives project. So there is information that they're putting out there on that. If anybody needs that, I can.
Let's double check that date.
Yeah, it's, I had February 24th.
Yeah, February, not in February.
February 24th. I'm only 3 months off. Yeah. Well, I don't know where I'm even at right now.
And there was some confusion, believe it or not. I got invited because my zip code, I live in Baser. I was invited to one in supposedly Bonner Springs on Monday, which at the last moment, they changed to Tuesday to today. It's going on now.
Oh,
So And it's important that we all, if many people want to show up to these things, show up or dial in, whatever, because the more support you have locally, the better chances you are of getting this done and done quickly. And I'm sure somebody from Baser may have been at the one today, where you have representation today, so.
And I,
Yeah,
and I think it'll be very important to look at that north leg, and I said this last time, I think they've committed to a 55 mile an hour design speed for the south leg, which they're calling the south leg from McIntyre South. But there were a multitude of, like, multiple options for that McIntyre, whether that's McIntyre to K7, McIntyre on north on a new alignment, or K5 on its current alignment with safety improvements. So there was 3 alternatives in different design speeds. There was a lot of variables from that McIntyre intersection going north. And I'm hoping that on February 24th, they'll have some information to put out to the public or to us on where they've kind of narrowed down as their options. I think it's important that they don't do it in too many phases. That was the other thing that they discussed. That public output will be important in is if people should comment on reduction in phases. We don't want to see this done as a 4 or 5 phase project over the course of the decade. Yeah. With multiple closures, because then you're just increasing K7 traffic at all times. I don't know if anybody has a question or not. You have to try to answer them.
Thanks, Bill, I know you're getting up to speed on all this.
Yeah, I need to get the whole list over to Mary sometime.
Well, we had a member of our, who sat on a board who basically shepherded all this through, Greg. He was down in, where was South Carolina, where's the race? Daytona 500, and he was gonna take a phone call yesterday on his truck coming home, because he's the one who shepherded this for us for the last 2 years. And it's been done in your lap.
Yeah.
And he would gladly welcome a phone call from you if you want even more information, but he will probably still be, trying to head that up as much as he possibly can, because he's backed it for so long. So.
Yeah.
But. Okay, any questions? Anybody out there? All right, industrial site committee, we've kind of put that on hold due to current lack of funding from the county, I guess. The industrial site committee is not really a thing right now. Then the other action item here is the education campaign, Golden Shovel. We are at a decision today. We have to make a decision whether we want to continue. Lisa and I have been the ones who've been on the phone calls with them, the education campaign that we've used over the last year and a half. With the idea of getting funding on the vote in Leavenworth County to get a mill levy paid directly to LPA to avoid the constant battle with county commissioners over funding. And the idea is we went out, we hired a organization out there to help us educate the community. So what we're doing, how we're doing, why it is important that we do, and then take it to a vote. And we just didn't move the needle enough. This is not the time. In my belief, it's just my opinion, given the results with Golden Shovel, they have helped, they have moved the needle, they have brought the discussion out in the open. It's just not the time to take it to a vote. We want to vote when it's successful. They have an opportunity. But given everything going on, especially with the Lansing decision out there, where, everybody may be voting no for everything, or whatever the case may be, it just wasn't the time. And it's also a time right now where I don't think LPA can spend another $30,000 at this point to continue this education campaign. Quite personally, I believe they did a wonderful job. We're up to me and me alone. I want to continue it simply because we have started to move the needle. And I think in the long run, if we don't get support, especially next November, when we get new commissioners, we're gonna have to find another source of funding. And there are other avenues that we're approaching at it, but nonetheless, we have to make decisions aboard today, whether to spend that next level, which is another $30,000 or not. So I'll entertain a motion. Anybody?
To not fund.
Yeah, what's the motion?
Whether you guys need to make it.
Okay,
I move that we not fund Golden Shovel
a second.
for moving forward.
For a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So you wanna put it on hold?
No, we're
Campaign on hold?
Continue.
we're gonna discontinue it. Yeah, basically, it
Okay,
will end our contract with them at this particular point in time.
They
Okay,
have a little bit of time the rest of the month to finish their initial education fund, but then.
Initial contract.
Yeah, the next fund would have been another part of the education and would have included a second polling. Which was at this point, I believe, unnecessary. We haven't moved the needle enough.
I think we can revisit it after we get a different
Yes,
position and feedback and get past the Lansing
Okay.
school thing.
Once we revisit it, I'd like to get some videos, for social media. Is that part of that, where if you don't have to have them in person at every single one?
but so it was. Do we
there's
have
a
a-
motion.
I think we
We
voted.
need a second.
Oh, yeah, there's a second.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry, Jared.
So basically, we were going to turn down the rest of the contract with full
Did we
change.
vote?
Yeah, yeah, okay. Oh, that's something, sorry. All right, other than that, project transport, you want to say anything about that, this current?
I would just say that he's indicated, the gentleman that is, the principal on that work company that bought the 2 lots in the Urban Hess Business Center has said that due to the uncertainty and then the changes that tariffs have caused, just doesn't make sense for them to build their building. So upcoming in the future, you guys will need to make a decision whether or not you want to buy those properties back. But you have until the end of the year, I think, till that contract is done, because he had a requirement in his contract to build a building within 2 years, and that will be towards the end of the year. So just know that that's upcoming. So that'll be another 134, I think it was about approximately 134,000.
And just for reference to other people. I am going. Still.
And that was 3 and 4, lots 3 and 4.
Yeah, just north, I can't see over there, but just north of DL Brandon.
Those are good lots.
So is he saying he's not gonna do it within the time frame and he will
Correct.
within 5 years, or not gonna do it at all?
He's offering for you all to buy it back. Both of them.
And just an FYI, one of the things, and we're dealing with another project is, this is, we lose an option. If we don't buy it back, then we've basically given them a discounted lot that they can sell on their own. So this is one of the reasons that it's the first time in 9 lives that we've had to do this, but we're gonna have to prepare to buy these lots back. And that's good for us, and we can get it back, we can market them. And sell to somebody else who's gonna bring economic development in here, rather than give somebody a discount lot that they can sell on their own.
Well, in addition to giving them the discount lot and they maybe make some money on it, they might also develop it as a parking lot. In which case, what's the real benefit?
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, we're always looking at economic benefit, and how it's gonna benefit the county. City, county, and everybody involved, that's why we involve all our city partners, so.
But in that vein, as treasurer, with our budgeting issue that's been said over and over, that would mean we'd be cashing the CD that.
Yeah, and we found a way to do that to where at the end of, beginning of April, they come due.
Yeah.
And then at that point, we'll have discussions, how much of that CD, due to the fact we have no additional funding coming in, then we would rebuild that CD then for the next, is it a 3-month or 6-month CD? How much we need to keep in our coffers now.
Right.
Up to this point, we've had money in our coffers, now we're starting to lose that.
Members aware that decision will be coming because of that. If we're gonna buy it back, that means A and B has to happen.
All right, let's move on to our affiliated partners. Anything else? Sorry. We got a lot of people left. We're glad to have you. Anybody want to speak? 2, 4, Penny, who wants to talk?
Well, we've got, yeah, right now we're kind of bogged down in core civic, but we'll be making a final decision on the 10th of March. So looking forward to a little break after that. Look at something more positive.
Yeah, Star One's still moving forward. We're waiting on a couple of studies to make further decisions on how we want to proceed. It's been quiet the last couple of months, but it's still moving forward, I guess. In the spring, we'll start the Wilson Avenue project. So that's over by Zephyr, which is one of our big industrial partners. We're expanding that road to accommodate their truck traffic, which they've been asking for multiple years now. So I know they're very excited about that. That's our big infrastructure project of the year. And in the spring, we start our street maintenance program. So that we do every year. So
Is that, what about your housing study? Do you have a complete?
that's ongoing. They're
Completion date?
I want to say it'll be ready by April, I think. Something like that.
Looking forward to that.
Yes.
Definitely.
We
I
may
know.
want to have the mayor, I think we have the date for the state of the city.
Oh, yeah.
What is the date?
Tuesday, April, Wednesday, April 8th.
I have that.
April 8th.
April 8th. Is that a Tuesday or a Wednesday? Wednesday, April 8th will be the date. We're doing it in the evening this time, so that way those of you who work can attend. As it was last year, it will be open and free to the public to attend. We will be serving some kind of dinner TBD. If you want to eat dinner, you'll need to register and pay for that in advance. But if you just want to show up and watch you, that's always free. So
Thank you, Kate. Where's it at?
it'll be at the community center.
You guys all night?
Yep, that's all I got.
Richard, all right. How about City of Lansing, Josh?
Sorry, slow on the click there. Hey guys, we are starting our comprehensive plan project today. First meeting with our advisory committee. A couple of folks in the room, as it were, will be there, which will be great. You'll be finding out more information on that as we go. We are excited about that in a lot of different ways. We have had a number of conversations with developers and through Lisa and LCDC. We are working on our CID projects. We're working on another one actually, and we're excited to see Monroe Manor moving rather quickly, thanks to unseasonable temperatures. I don't know. Maybe it's the new seasonable temperatures, and then the retail. So Covington Woods is scheduled to come online here in the next month or so, and then our retail development should start moving dirt here in the next couple of months. So that's where we are at. Questions?
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. Would you like to join us?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, so last month I had mentioned that the mayor's State of the City address was gonna be coming up, and so tickets are on sale now. That's Tuesday, March 10th. It'll be at Falcon Lakes at 11:30. Our building permit activity has continued to stay strong, and we just hired a new building inspector. I think he starts this week or next. And the planning and zoning director, Jim Sherman, had been doing his job and that job, so I'm sure he'll be relieved to get some help. We're also continuing to monitor the legislation in Topeka. The city went up recently and testified in opposition to HB 2745, which would make several changes to cities' budget processes. I'm sure some of the other cities are watching this also.
Yeah.
And I actually just got a legislative update this morning right before I came. They're looking at making 3 changes. And so if anybody didn't get that and they're interested, let me know and I'd be glad to forward that email to you. Also, the city is going to be constructing a single lane roundabout at 155th and Wolf Creek Parkway. We've already just selected our design firm, and they should start the process of surveying here pretty quickly. This is part of a project that was approved by our sales tax vote that passed. And then also Mid-America Regional Council is going to be opening up their next funding round here just pretty soon. And the city's planning to submit a large roadway project to improve our downtown and at least 2 trail projects. The city has voting representation on the Kansas Programming Committee. And we're hoping that other voting members from Lebanon County will also support these projects. And that's all I've got for this month. Thank you.
Any questions for Sherry? Chris, George, who wants to speak for Tongi? George, all right, George, you're elected.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Couple of big infrastructure projects underway. Front Street is a complete rehab, adding stormwater and sidewalks. If you're not familiar where that is, it's just to the guess south of 2440 Brother. It will connect Brothers Grocery Store to the dog park and eventually to downtown. So it's an important pedestrian area and obviously makes connections to our existing trail system. The nice thing there is that project came in very under our engineer's opinion of probable cost. And when we had our pre-construction meeting with our contractor, they asked, because we originally had Ridge Street, which is a perpendicular connection to that, to 2440 for same thing, mill and overlay, stormwater and sidewalks. And we think that in our discussion with them that we can kind of do both of those roads under the project budget for just Front Street. So we're kind of going through the legal ease to make sure that we can do that. So we're excited about that. The other big road project is 14th Street, which would be a new connection on 2440. It would run to the east and make connection at East Street, which is part of the middle school and grade school campus. That opens up about 300 acres or so of development ground, possibly more, where the city has sewer and water already in place. City would take this cost on. We're doing the survey work and design work for it now. Ultimately, we create a benefit district and get some, hopefully get some projects moving there. We've had a lot of interest from developers in that corridor. The last thing I would mention, oh, and then our wastewater treatment plant, our contractors there, they've mobilized and begun dirt work. Again, that doubles our daily capacity. So hoping that helps the community grow for the next 20 years. And then the last thing, I'm sure a lot of you have seen public discussion. I know that our elected county representative has been doing, I guess, community meetings on data centers that have interest. Nothing immediately within the city limits of Tonganoxie, but we're hopeful that city staff can continue discussions with county staff in terms of evaluating projects that would locate literally on the other side of existing city limits, and hopefully that we all participate and evaluate those projects together. So I don't really have a lot of details on that, but like I said, I do know there's an elected official out there holding public meetings on it. So anyway, that's all I have. Chris, you can pick up anything I left, please.
No comments. Thanks, George.
All right, if that's all there is, I would entertain a motion to stay for next month. Second. Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank everybody for your time today.
And see you guys.